Welcome back to the Shallon Entourage. Today, I want to talk about some of my favorite people to talk about, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, because it was recently in the news, and I feel like it didn't even get as much press as it should have, but it really put my little antenna up, was that Prince Harry cut off some of his best friends, this one dude in particular, because the guy said to him before he got married, mate, don't marry that girl. No, he wouldn't sound like that. Harry, don't marry her. That's probably more like it. And it got me to thinking, what do you do if your friends or family don't like your partner? Should you listen to them? Should you cut them off like Harry did? We're going to explore it. But just to let you guys know and give you a reminder, if you have a question of your own, you want to chit chat privately, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO and click chat to get connected right away. And follow me on social media at ShallonXO on Instagram, Snap, and Twitter. And click like and subscribe for new videos all the time, every other day. I have no life. So Prince Harry and Meghan. I've done a video on them before, all about how Meghan seduced Harry, basically by honing in on what I call his shadow self, the self that he always wanted the world to see. Because Harry grew up in the the literal shadow of Prince William and certainly Diana, and was sort of the forgotten prince, the bad boy prince. Which is funny because I don't think anyone, girls loved Prince Harry, so I don't know that he was ever overlooked. I would marry Prince Harry. Just the same amount of me would marry him as would marry Prince William. Any prince, really. I'm not that particular anymore. So, but Meghan really honed in on that. And why I think their relationship is kind of toxic is because she separated him from his core group of people. That's not healthy for anyone. And a lot of people, I find, and a lot of girls, I think, have this mentality. It's it's this Bonnie and Clyde. It's us against the world, babe. Fuck everyone. Ride or die. Wah! Why do you want that dynamic? Why? Why is that healthy? Why is that cool or fun? I don't want to have to choose between my family and my friends and my goal. Because with that also comes, it's well, those aren't the only sacrifices you're making. You're probably not just cutting off your family and your friends. You're probably cutting off your own goals and ambitions too, right? I mean, if your entire life is oriented around one person at the expense of you're going to cut off people who ostensibly love and care about you, you're probably going to cut off everything else because everything is going to funnel down to this one person. And that's a typical tactic of someone who is abusive. That's a hallmark of an abusive relationship is they isolate you. Because what do isolated people do? They don't ask other people's opinions. They're not getting input. They're not getting that accountability from memory keepers and historians in their life. And that's very useful for someone who is an abuser. You want to be able to say, where are you going to go? Nowhere. I own you. Who are you going to tell? No one. Because then everything you do exists in this vacuum and they lose perspective on whether or not it's normal. So that's why I worry for Harry. I don't think Meghan's an abusive person. I think she's just kind of a bitch. She just sounds like a bitch. So much of her is awesome. So it's I'm hesitant to say ugh, she seems like she sucks. But in terms of the dynamics she's thrust upon that family, she sucks for that family. She might not suck for a lot of other people, but I think the royal family thinks the situation is very sucky. She's put a wedge between not only Harry and his brother, Prince William and Kate Middleton, but yeah, now his group of friends. And that's really significant. I've been married, dated a lot of boys, and I always wanted to know what my friends thought about my partner. I wanted to know. The worst for me is when I break up with a guy and my friend's ugh, we hated him. Why did you not tell me this? You guys! I need to know. And I want to know because I trust my friends. And I don't have the mentality of it's me against the world, me and you, babe, just ride or die. No, ew, no. Maybe because I'm an only child and my friends are like my family. And if someone's in my inner circle, they're in. And I've had friends say to me, when I was dating someone, they're he's mean to you and you aren't happy and you've changed a lot since you met him. And I didn't brush that off. Maybe in the moment I was oh, really? I don't think so. I love him. But it sunk in and I appreciated them for going out on a limb and saying that because look at what happened to Harry's friend. He pulled him aside and I'm sure I'm sure it wasn't an off the cuff remark, like, whatever, I'm just going to like shit on it, my best friend's fiance. I'm sure he like weighed that long and hard and was like, dude. Now, we don't know what he said. He could have said something like, don't marry her because she's half black, or something weird. She's divorced and therefore tainted under the eyes of the Lord. In that case, fine, yeah, cut him off. I'm assuming he pointed out some of the traits that are now blossoming in the royal family. She can be pushy, she can be a diva, and she can maybe isolate Harry. I feel like Meghan's one of those girls who, if a guy goes on a guy's night out, she will call 25,000 times. You know what I mean? You know? I hate that. That's annoying. I hate it when guys do it. It's not a girl thing. It's annoying. It's proprietary, and it's meant to isolate you. And I think when people do these things, these toxic behaviors, I don't think they're like, haha, now phase the second, I isolate, you know, but it's just inherent. I don't know why Meghan does it. Maybe she feels so isolated in that family. So it's like she does feel like it's just him and her against the world. I mean, literally the world, because they're like in such a public spotlight. I don't know. But you know what? Forget about those two. What do you do if you think your friends, or not even think, know that your friends and loved ones don't like the person you're dating? I think it's very important to dwell on statistics and math. Statistically, it is unlikely that your group of friends who, like I said, ostensibly you trust in other categories, like I'm assuming you have a healthy relationship with your friends. This isn't like the plastics and Regina George is telling you this. I assume that your friends want you to be happy, they know you well, and they shoot you straight for the most part. If you look fat in those jeans, they're not going to tell you. So statistically, how likely is it that they've formed this weird hive mind where they're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to fuck up Shallon's love life. Why? We don't know. Mayhem. Like they don't just want to watch the world burn. You know what I mean? So why would your friends not like someone if they didn't have a reason? Why would they try to separate you and somebody else? I watch a lot of reality TV. Who doesn't? I'm proud of it. And you always see people, like I always think of Little Women LA. Do you watch that show? It's about little women. They're little people. And Brianna and this fucking douchebag, Matt, that she ended up marrying, now is divorcing because he's into child pornography. The whole thing. And her friends hated him, like from the jump. And like it caused this huge rift. And it's like an unmendable rift at this point. And it's like and the girls all hated him. And those girls didn't even all like each other. So it wasn't like they had banded together, like, you know what, we're going to do this anti-Matt campaign. And if you asked each one of them individually, and God knows producers did, why they didn't like Matt, they all had very reasonable, concrete answers. He puts her down. He's jealous of her. He belittles her. Like he isolates her. You know, so it wasn't just like, I don't know, like she shouldn't have a boyfriend, whatever. We don't want her. She should be single. Mwah. So sit down with your friends and ask them, tell me what you think's going on with Matt and I. Like, what do you think? I asked my best friend the other night this. Like, I'm a grown woman. I shouldn't need a democratized opinion about my love life from anyone. And I was like, what do you think of my boyfriend? And she's like, he makes you happy. And the second he stops making you happy, I might have a lot of other things to say. And I read between the lines, like, maybe she doesn't see a ton of longevity in this relationship. That's okay. But like, I want to give her a platform and the space so that she can communicate how she feels. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to waste my fucking time, right? I don't need to be right. Like, I'm going to make this work because I have to. I'm not one of those people. I mean, I am stubborn and I am a nightmare, but I'm too old and I'm too tired to waste my time, you know? So if I'm watering a dead plant, I want someone to tell me that. So sit down with your friends, maybe not as a group, because that can be a lot of opinions you can feel ganged up on and it's hard to process this. And the whole point is to process it and let things take root and like flower in your mind and be like, okay, is there some truth here? And be like, hey, tell me why you don't like my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my partner, whatever. And really listen to what they say. If they say things like, he's mean to you, I see you change, your light is dimmed, you seem insecure, he's tapping into things you don't like about yourself. These are very significant things. This isn't like them just being a bitch. Because if someone's just being a bitch, they're not going to have a very cohesive argument. Like their sentences literally won't make sense. It's not going to be well thought out and like a great argument. It's going to be Trump talking versus like Barack Obama making an argument. Like a wonderful, coherent, sensical, logical piece of verbiage. That's what I like. That's what I want to hear. It's going to be like, blah, 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 blah. So sit down and listen. Same with your parents. Let's assume you have a healthy dynamic with your parents. And I know that that's not always true. So it might, you know what? Yeah, it might not always be the best to get it. Like an opinion from your parents because they could have just simply, it's not even a matter of an unhealthy relationship. It's just like a different wish for you. They might want to see you married by 23 and you're like, no, thank you. They might insist you marry someone Jewish. So no matter, you could bring home the greatest Christian known to man and they'd be like, no. So they're seeing things through their own filter. That is something else to consider. Your friends, everyone on planet Earth is evaluating everything through their own filter and through the lens of their own experiences. So like a friend who just got divorced maybe isn't the first person you should tell when you get engaged or like need advice on how to survive an engagement. You know what I mean? That might not be where they're at emotionally, and they're going to have opinions colored by their own experiences, of course. So if you think that that's at play, that's fine. Take it with a grain of salt. But again, this is where statistics come in. You're going to crowdsource. You're not just going to ask your one friend who just got dumped and is super down on men if you should break up with your boyfriend. Of what's she probably going to say? But ask your other friends. Ask a friend who's been happily single a long time. Ask a friend who's gay, who doesn't know, ain't doing shit with men. Smart. Ask somebody who has been in a loving long-term relationship and see if there's a common theme here. If they're all sort of repeating the same kind of idea, statistically, that's probably true. So then here's the question, what do you do? On one hand, it's like, should you really dump someone because your friends don't like them? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to live our lives based on our friend's opinion? No. Like, you shouldn't throw out an outfit that you love because someone says it's not trendy. You shouldn't eat food that you don't like because someone says you shouldn't spend money you don't have. But this is different. That's where that rhetoric is going to come in. If they're saying things to you that demonstrate how insightful they are into your true character, you know, if they're like, you used to be outgoing, helpful, empathetic, and now you're withdrawn, you're icy, you're hostile, that shows that they know who you are. So take that into consideration. And yeah, like I did break up with someone because of that. Like when my friend had said that to me before, like, your boyfriend's mean to you, I didn't break up with him like that day, but it resonated with me. And I'm like, I value my friends so much. Their good opinion means a lot to me, like a lot. And I want them to be proud of me because when I do esteemable things, they let me know and my self-esteem grows. You know, they're happy for me when I write another book. They're happy for me when my YouTube channel grows. They're happy for me when I get a promotion. So it doesn't track that in this one category, they're trying to hold me down. Like statistically, logically, that doesn't make sense to me. So it wasn't the entire reason I broke up with him, but it allowed me to pull back and look at the situation. And I'm like, he is mean to me. That's right. That incident that I excused, that I brushed off, that I said, oh, it's just because we were drunk. No, he was being mean. Oh, and there's another data point for that. And there's another, and there's another, and there's another. Once you have a theory, you can find a lot of evidence to support it. You know what I mean? So take into consideration everyone's opinion and how it aligns with your gut feeling. Because what my friends told me was not a shock to me. I mean, at first I was like, oh, but I wasn't like, what? You know, if they'd been like, I think he's gay, I'd be like, I don't think that. You know, it wasn't like wildly shocking to me. On some level, everything they said resonated. I heard it. And I wonder if Prince Harry heard it too. And I wonder if that's the reason he pushed people away, because he didn't want people who saw it. You know what I mean? Who saw those fatal flaws in his relationship. Maybe he didn't want to know, because I know how it is. When you get in so deep, it's like there's no going back. certainly when you're engaged. I tried to call off my engagement and it didn't work. It's not like it is in the movies. It's where you just take off the ring and like, goodbye. Like, it is not that way. The train has left the station and it's full speed ahead. And certainly when you're a prince on the public stage, like, what are you going to do? And I know what you tell yourself. I'm sure that this will just work itself out. I'm sure they're wrong. And maybe they are. Maybe whatever his friend said was complete bullshit and that's why he cut him off. Let's hope so. Let's hope Harry and Meghan have a long, happy life together. I actually think that they will. If for no other reason, I think they're both stubborn. I think they will stick this out for a really, really long time. But who knows? You know, I thought that before. So sit down, listen to people, weigh their opinion against your own intuition, do that gut check, and pull back and refocus and look at the theories and see if there's evidence to support it. And then go to your partner and address this. And maybe your partner's doing things to encourage this rift. You know, not just, let's say they're not abusive and isolating you. Maybe they're just kind of a douche or kind of a fuckboy or just like weird at parties. How do you fuse those two together? It can be difficult, but I can do a whole separate video on that actually, because it's like a whole another ocean. Do you guys want that? I will, if you want. Just tell me. I'm slavishly obedient to my friends. Who are you? See? In fact, you know, the next time I think I'm about to break up with someone, I'm just going to sat him here on the couch and interview him and just like crowdsource it and let you guys decide. You guys are excellent judges of character. We're all great judges of character on someone else's relationship. And it can be hard. We get so myopic about our own. Love colors it, lust, that need to be right, you know, that stubbornness to prove people wrong. All of that comes into play. But at the end of the day, the only person you really need to prove anything to is yourself. I mean, your friends really don't give a shit. You know, like, I mean, they do, but it's like at the end of the day, they don't have to live with the consequences of your decisions. You do. They maybe have to hear about it 20 minutes a week at brunch, but that's about it. You have to live inside your decisions. So you better make sure they align with you, not the bad parts, not the ego needs, not the need to be right, not the I told you so part, the true authentic you that's in there. Tap into your intuition, tap into your mind and your logic, and you're going to tap into the right kind of love and the right kind of friends. If you guys want to chat privately about this topic or any topic, from celebrities to sex to family to love to baking, which I will talk about baking all the time, find me on the Instant-Go app at ShallonXO and click chat to get connected. Also find me at ShallonXO on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat and click like and subscribe for new videos all the time.